Hey guys, AJYT Abbott here, and welcome to the 100 2019 films ranking. Now, before we get into it, there will be some mild spoilers to these movies that I will be talking about. I'm trying not to spend a huge amount of time talking about these films because last year when I did the 2018 ranking, it lasted over an hour, and or I think it close to an hour or over an hour, and that was only covering 70 and covering 100. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the ranking. At number 100, the worst movie of 2019 is The Queen's Corgi. I mean, do I even need to say anything? Bad animation, horrible story, bad voice acting. It's not a good watch at all. Next on our list is number 99, Replicas. This was just a really lame film, and it disappoints me to have it so low on the list because it's Keanu Reeves. And I love Keanu Reeves and John Wick, and I'm gonna probably most likely love him in Sponge on the Run, and of course Bill and Ted, The Matrix. I can go on and on. But yeah, this was just not a good film by him. Absolutely lazy storytelling, just bland, boring, super forgettable film. At number 8 is Dumbo. I really hated this movie. um, I honestly, I cannot watch this movie again. I can't bring myself to watch it. It is so boring and poorly made, and it disrespects the original film by overshadowing Dumbo and focusing on lame characters. At number 97 is Ugly Dolls. I don't even think I need to explain this one. You guys get it. 96 is Ad Astra. This is just a super boring, forgettable film. I like Brad Pitt's acting in this, and I like Ruth Negga, and, of course, Tommy Lee Jones was great, but it disinterests me. It had a good premise, but just falls flat. Number 95, I covered this on That Movie, Kim Possible. Let's move on because I've already covered it on the That Movie. It's just really bad, guys. It disrespects Kim Possible. At number 94 is The Kid Who Would Be King. I just really didn't like this movie. I don't know. It's just not for me. The target audience, actually, it's kind of hard to find the target audience because there is, like, some dark imagery in this. But then there's lighthearted stuff. But overall, it was pretty forgettable, and I just didn't enjoy it that much. Number 93 is Harriet. I just felt like, I don't know, this movie just wasn't for me. It takes its time, developing the plot. And while I do like that in some films, this one just, I don't know, I was very bored with this film. Like Ad Astra, it had a good premise, and I like the idea, and I'm glad they made it, but it just falls flat. Number 92 is Frozen 2. Man, this is just a bad, bad Disney sequel. This is just a curse towards the whole Frozen demographic, and I did not like the way they handled the characters or the story. The songs were halfway decent, half of them were garbage. Just a really bad film. Number 91 is Gemini Man. I've done a review on this on my channel. You guys know that I really didn't enjoy Gemini Man. I wanted to, but it just did not work for me. There was useless characters. There was only like one fight between Will Smith and Will Smith. It was just a very bland and forgettable film, and it just did not do everything that I wanted it to be. And sometimes films are like that, but I was expecting more out of it. At number 90 is Stuber with Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know, it just wasn't that funny to me, man. I don't know. It was pretty forgettable. Honestly, when I was doing this ranking, I struggled to remember if I even watched this film. But, it's a decent comedy, I guess. But, I don't know, I just didn't find it all that funny. I like Dave Bautista and Kumail, though. They're funny. At whoa, that's very blurred. Number 89 is Escape Room. It's a bad concept. I did not like it. I just really get any enjoyment out of it, and now I hear that they're making a sequel to it in 2020. You idiots. Number 88 is Booksmart. Now, I don't know, this film just didn't get a lot of hype in me or a lot of comedy out of me. I just didn't find it too funny. I just found it kind of lazy in the writing. But, I mean, it's for some people, I guess it just wasn't for me. Number 87 is Annabelle Comes Home. Well, I do like they added a little bit of comedy in the mix. I don't know. I've just never been a fan of the Annabelle films. The first one's decent. The second one I didn't like, and this one I don't like that much either. I don't know. I guess these just aren't for me. At 86 is The Lion King. Many of you will know I did not like this film at all. They just get really bad, just awful storylines. Which is bad because the storylines are from the animated version. They don't use any of the characters in efficient ways except for Timon and Pumbaa, and even they were kind of dry at some moments, but for the most part they did get a laugh off of me. I do like Mufasa. Death was handled moderately well. I mean, it's treated sort of like to the side, but I don't know, overall pretty forgettable. Number 85 is The Prodigy. This is really forgettable. The ending is good. Pretty much everything else is lazy. I do like the child actor. He played Georgie in It, but not much to say on this one. It was really forgettable. And number 84 is The Secret Life of Pets 2. This is not funny. It's not funny to me. A lot of the jokes just fell flat. And it's the case with a lot of animated films on this list, sadly. But yeah, I just didn't find it as good as the first film. The characters weren't as fleshed out in this one as they were in the first film. I guess because we were just getting to know them in the first film. But, you know, it's okay. I'm sure they'll make a third one, maybe. I don't know. Not too sure. But, yeah, it just wasn't that funny to me. Number 83 is Missing Link. I do like Lakia Studios. Paranorman was good. I haven't seen Kubo and the Two Strings. Coraline's good. And I haven't seen Box Trolls. Is Box Trolls from Lakia? Yeah, it is. I haven't seen Box Trolls. I don't think I'll like it that much. Yeah, this is just kind of bland to me, man. I like the voice actors, but I don't know, it's kind of bland. I mean, it has a good adventure story for the kids, but I don't know, it just wasn't for me. 82 is A Madea Family Funeral. It's a good exit for Tyler Perry and the career that he's spawned off of these Madea movies. And it's kind of fitting that it's, you know, the final one and it's a funeral based one. But yeah, it was decent. It's funny, just not very impactful as the other films on this list. Number 81 is Little Monsters with Lupita Nyong'o and Josh Gad was also in it. It's a good zombie flick, man. It's fun, and I don't know, it just didn't leave as much as an impact. A lot of these films on this list, I wouldn't say that I hate them. I don't hate Little Monsters. That's good. Just like I didn't hate A Madea Family Funeral. Whoa, I didn't hate A Madea Family Funeral. But, you know, it's just a certain thing to where I've messed up. It's just a certain thing to where it just didn't leave much of an impact to me. Number 80 is The Man Who Killed and then Bigfoot. Like the other two on this list, I liked it. I like Sam Elliott. Freaking awesome in this film. There's some great cinematography moments in here and just some really epic action scenes. Just didn't leave as much of an impact as the other films on this list. 79 is The Addams Family. I didn't enjoy a lot of the jokes in this film. It just really did not click with me and fell flat. And I like the animation, some of it not so much. I like family, everyone else is pretty terrifying. But yeah, it just didn't leave much of an impact. Same with Hellboy, man. I wanted to like Hellboy. I gave it like a C or something back when I was doing the letter grades. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just not a good film. It's definitely not as good as the Ron Howard films. Definitely not. Ron Howard? Yeah, I think so. 77 is Fighting with My Family. It's a decent film, you know. Dwayne Johnson produced it. He did a good job on that. I like the cast, and it was a good story overall. It just didn't leave that much of an impact. Same with the Curse of La Llorona. Just did not get a lot of stuff right for me, and it just wasn't the film for me. 75. It was a good outing. How to Train Your Dragon. 3. The Hidden World, the final film, and it was good. It just didn't leave a lot of impact because I think it was back in January when it came out, and then we have all these other films on the list. It just kind of got back in my mind, and then I rewatched it, and it just doesn't stack up well against the other films on the list. And number 74 is Glass. I actually kind of enjoyed this film. It just didn't leave much of an impact because, like, the first 2 acts aren't anything that special. It's sort of building up to that third act where even then it isn't even that satisfying, where they kill off David Dunn, Mr. Glass, and Hedwig, or Beast, or, whatever you want to call him. At 73 is Abominable. This had a disadvantage because I kind of enjoyed it, but then it just got hung back and didn't leave much of an impression on me, probably because it got released around the same time as, like, Joker and Judy. It just did not, because those 2 films were really good. They're higher on the list. Not to say that this one is bad. It just didn't leave as much of an impact as the other films on the list. That's the case for a lot of them. Men in Black International, I just did not like at all. It was just very, very boring, and I didn't get a lot out of it, which is a shame because I like Taika Waititi, I like Chris Hemsworth, and I like Tessa Thompson, and I like Liam Neeson. He was a good villain, but overall, just not a good film for me. I just did not enjoy it. 71 is 21 Bridges. It's pretty much the same case with this one. I didn't get a whole lot out of it. Really, it was a decent action flick, a decent mystery, but overall, it just didn't leave an impression. Number 70 is Dark Phoenix. This was a disappointment by a long shot, man. This was really disappointing. I wanted to like it, but it just did not go out on a high note, this X-Men franchise. And I'm glad that Marvel now has the rights now, so they can fix this. It was just very bad character use, bad plot, horrible. I do like Jessica Chastain. She was not a good villain. Not to say her performance was good. The villain was garbage, though. So yeah, that's Dark Phoenix. 69. It had a good cast, and I liked it. It just didn't leave much of an impact. 68 was Countdown. It was a decent horror flick. I like the idea. Just didn't leave much of an impact. 67 was Angry Birds Movie 2. I actually like this film more than I thought going in because the first one I hated, and this one I actually do like. So yeah, that's good. It had a good voice cast and everything. Good story. I liked it, and if this is the final film, it was a good wrap up. 66 is Charlie's Angels. I had some mixed thoughts on this film because originally it wasn't all that much to me. Rewatching it, some of the action's good. Charlie's Angels is a very complex franchise. And this just wasn't a strong entry into that franchise. I like the cast. The cast was great, really good cast. But I don't know, some of the action was a little bit lackluster. Some of it's good, some of it's not. But overall, at the end of the day, it landed at 66. At number 65, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, is Alita Battle Angel. I just didn't like it as much as other people liked it. Had a good cast, good story, good visuals, but I think people overshadowed the whole entire story for the visuals, and I just didn't like it. It didn't leave much of an impression on me at all. 64 is The Rim of the World. It was a Netflix film. It's a cheesy film, but I love cheesy films, so it's kind of a cheat thing to put it on here this high. But I like the cast. It was a good, charming cast of kids, and I like the cheesy action. It was honestly really good for a Netflix film. Had a really good story to it. 63 is Zombie Tidal Wave. This was a sci-fi film from the Asylum, with Ian Ziering from the Sharknado films, and it was a good time. It was a cheesy time, and it was a fun time. And I didn't want to put anything in between Rim of the World and Zombie Tidal Wave because they're very similar films in terms of quality and cheesiness. So yeah, they landed at 63. 62 is Scooby-Doo, Return to Zombie Island. I love Scooby-Doo. But unfortunately, Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island isn't as good as Scooby-Doo, on Zombie Island. And I don't know, it just did not leave a big impression on me. 61 is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I would have liked this film if it was rated R. I like the cast of kids. It was pretty good. It had decent scares. Overall, pretty forgettable, though. 60 is, oh my gosh, I can't even remember the name of this. Black and Blue. Black and Blue. It was very forgettable. You can see I barely even remember the name. Good cast, decent story, but just not that impressionable on me. 59 is Descendants 3. It was a great wrap-up to this little saga, little thing we had here. Trilogy, I guess you would call it, maybe. Great cast, including Cameron Boyce, that of course passed away sadly, but I really enjoyed it. At number 58 is Yesterday. It was a good film, guys. It really is. Go check it out. We're starting to get into the section of really good movies. Yesterday is very enjoyable, has a great story that I would have never thought of, great cast, and just a really fun time. Number 57 is Aladdin. You know, it's one of the lower ones on the list, only because I didn't like the way they handled some of, specifically Jafar. But overall, it was a decent remake, not the best, not the worst, of course, because we had Dumbo and Lion King. But overall, I'd rewatch it again. You know, it's a decent time, especially with Will Smith's charisma, and the dancing and singing was really good. And number 56 is a very creepy one. This is sort of a documentary type film, which is Wrinkles the Clown. Now, this is a story about, of course, a wild, crazy clown that people call up and have rituals about, and you know, he basically serves as a mysterious intimidation tactic where kids call him when they want to see one. But yeah, it was a decent time, a great documentary, and I enjoyed the creep factor of it. Number 55 is A Dog's Way Home. I really did like this film. It was just really fun for me because I'm huge love this high on the list. And it was a good I read the books, and it actually is as good as the book. So yeah. 54 is Dog's Journey. A Dog's Journey, which is the sequel to A Dog's Purpose from 2016, of course. And yeah, it was a good film. It was very sad, of course, because there's some deaths, and you have to watch this dog die and then keep going, you know, as it goes to the next life. But overall, really good film. Number 53 is Midway. And it's a decent flick, guys. It's a good war flick. It just did not take much time to flesh out the characters, I felt like. But overall, I had a good time with it. It's a good watch. It's a good war movie. It had a great cast, but at number 52 is Angel Has Fallen, which is a good film, of course, with Gerard Butler and Morgan Freeman. This is, of course, Doom in the Has Fallen trilogy or series or whatever franchise, of course, with Olympus Has Fallen, and then London Has Fallen. Now we have Angel Has Fallen, of course. But yeah, it was a decent action flick. It had great action and a good story, and I do like the wrap up that it gave to Gerard Butler's character. 51 is Shaft. This was a comedy, of course. Well, comedy and action with Samuel L. Jackson. So I was guaranteed to like it, and I had never seen any of the Shaft films going in. And watching those now, after I've seen this Shaft, it's really enjoyable, and it just enhances my experience of this Shaft film. And number 50 is Judy. I really enjoyed this film. It doesn't have a huge conclusion like Bohemian Rhapsody, and doesn't have like a wide angle, like, great finale where they, reuse footage of a music video like Rocketman, but it is a good watch, and I really like Renee Zellweger as Judy, and she does deserve at least a nomination or a nod to her in the Oscars for Best Female Lead, because she was just fantastic and charming as Judy. 9 is Ford v Ferrari. This is actually going to be a movie review soon. I think it's the very last review of this year. But yeah, I really enjoyed, of course, Matt Damon, and Christian Bale was great, as well as the the two main characters. And it's just a really fun watch to me. I mean, I don't have much to say on it because I was honestly really feeling the run to the long film. It's for me anyway. But yeah, it was a decent flick, and I'd watch it again. At number 48 is The Art of Racing in the Rain. I recently got this film for my mom for Christmas because we both like dogs, and I like this film, man. It is really good. It's sad, of course, but I like the acting, and of course the voice acting for the dog is great, and it's just a really good, compelling story about this dog that, you wouldn't expect out of the gate. You would think it's just a decent dog film, but it is a really good film. Go check it out, guys, seriously. Number 47 is The Lego Movie 2, the second part. This just wasn't as good as the first one for me. It had great pop culture references, some great songs, and of course a great voice cast, as always. At number 46 is Greta. It was a great mystery. I like the cast. It was just a really shockingly violent film as she, just kills a whole bunch of people and drugs this girl and hides her in the basement. I would definitely watch this film again. I'm probably definitely going to get this on DVD when I have the chance for it. And number 45 is Pet Sematary. This was a fun film for me because I like the original Pet Sematary. The second one, not so much. But this was a really fun one for me because, man, it is just very compelling to watch this man just slowly go into madness as he witnesses, his daughter die, and then he digs her up from the grave, and then she wants to kill his wife, and he kills his wife, and then in the end, oh my gosh, the ending was so shocking. Really, it was just really graphic, guys, and I loved it. And number 44 is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Now, this was a super fun film, of course. Well, it was a super fun film for me. And a lot of people didn't enjoy it that much, but I like the cast. And Angelina Jolie was charming as ever. And it was just sort of boring a little bit where she was absent from the film a lot. But it makes up for it in the third act that really should be rated R for kids. But, I mean, it was a good time. 43 is Child's Play. Now, this used to be a really high one up on the list. Even potentially top 20 for me, maybe. But, I don't know. It just, rewatching it, it has a lot of flaws, but I do like the cast. And Mark Hamill voicing Chucky was great. And I don't know, it had some decent kills, and I had a good time with it. It's just not the best. Number 42 is El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Watching Breaking Bad was great. Watching this film was even better as you go back into that setting of Breaking Bad and that feeling and the mood and the tone and Jesse Pinkman's journey. It's just very enjoyable to watch. At number 41 is Detective Pikachu. This is a really funny film. Of course, Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu. And of course, the other Pokemon were just beautifully handled. I really love that. And it made me want to get into Pokemon again. And it was just a great time. I would honestly really watch this again. Especially for Psyduck. At 40 is Jexi with Adam Devine. Devine? Adam Devine, I think. Sure. This is a fun film, man. It was AI taking over this guy's life, and I found it a good romantic story and just a really overall fun concept for this film. I mean, it's something we've seen before, but it was a great twist on it. The final act, it was decent. It takes a turn into left field, but I kind of liked it a little bit. But yeah, overall a very fun watch. 39 is Happy Death Day to You. This was one of the first films that I saw in theaters this year. I think it was the first film I saw in theaters this year. I believe. Yes, yeah. but yeah, man, Happy Death Day to You was great. It's not as good as the first, but I still think it is great. It's comedic. The timing is great. It was just a fantastic watch in theaters. And number 39, or well, 38 is Us. Us is a very creepy film, and it honestly, I get it. I get why it's so creepy, from Jordan Peele, of course, the director of Get Out, and I just really enjoyed Us. It's not as good as Get Out, and it does have some flaws, but overall, I like Lupita Nyong'o's performance, of course, and the cast is just overall is fantastic and had a very creepy feel to it. And number 37 is Cold Pursuit. This film, I got to it really late. I watched it like a month ago, maybe, just to get it done for the ranking, and I didn't think it would be all that. I loved this film, man. Liam Neeson is so good. It is so fun to see him go through this cycle of killing people, and then it flashes their name up on the screen with a cross, and then throws them in the ocean. It just goes through that every time someone dies. Well, not the part of it goes through it moderately. But man, it was a super fun watch for me. And number 36 is Captain Marvel. Um, Once again, super fun watch. It's the aspect of it being a origin weighs it down a little bit, but I do love Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, in this film. It was a great, preamp to Endgame. Even though we didn't get much of her in Endgame, it was a great lead up to that. At number 35 is an A24 film, which is The Lighthouse. Of course, The Lighthouse is a very weird film, and I like weird films. Of course, Robert Pattinson, I hope he gets an Oscar for his performance. He really does deserve it. Willem Dafoe is fantastic as well. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are definitely the best part of the film, and there's just a very creepy tone to it as well. Of course, it being an A24 film, and I just found it a really compelling film and a surprise for me. And number 3 is an A24 film, Midsommar. This is a super creepy and edgy film. It takes a while to get going, but once it does get going and gets that violent, just really dark, and honestly really nasty and gruesome stuff, it really intrigued me. And of course, I forget what her name is. She's Black Widow's sister in the new Black Widow film. Her performance is fantastic as Danny. I don't remember the character's name, but man, it's just a really compelling film. Go watch it, guys. 33 is the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I really found myself enjoying this film. It's comedic, of course, with Kevin James is just fantastic. And so, just him, Jay and Silent Bob, of course, obviously are the best part of the film. The comedy is great. It lands perfectly, and I honestly could not ask for a better reboot from this franchise. Is Jumanji the next level? I had some problems with this film, but overall, it landed at 32 just for its great cast, great comedy, and overall great story. And number 31 is Good Boys. This is a super awesome watch, fun watch. I found myself laughing at almost every single joke. It was a weird film and a fun film, of course, by Seth Rogen. Just a great job to him and the child actors. At number 30 is The Intruder. This was a big surprise for me. I did not think I was going to like this film. But it was great, man. Oh my gosh. Wow. Just go watch it. I'm not even going to say anything about the story. It was good. That's all I'll say. But it was just fantastic. Go watch it. I liked it. It's very underrated in my opinion. I enjoyed it a lot. Number 29 is 47 Meters Down, Uncaged. I really enjoyed this film as well, mainly for its creep factor and its intensity, and the cast was great. Sylvester Stallone's daughter, and she plays a dumb blonde, But she gets eaten, and it's a great death for her. Just really great kills, and just intensity was up the whole film. And number 28 is Brightburn. I'm so happy this made it into the top 30, because I was going to be so disappointed if this was going to drag down in the list. I really like Brightburn. It's a super fun, enjoyable story. The great cast, of course, with Elizabeth Banks being the highlight. For me, anyway, the kid was really good too. I forget what his name is, but he was fantastic. It's just a great concept, and honestly, I couldn't ask for a better horror superhero type film. From James Gunn, James Gunn's brother and his cousin, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is Crawl. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy this film either, and it ended up being a super fun surprise for me. It was just really enjoyable and just super shocking and entertaining. Next is Ma. Of course, with Octavia Spencer, she was very creepy in the role of Ma, and I liked that they made her character not only creepy but compelling, so you understand her motives and what she's going through at the moment in every single scene, and it was just very well handled by Blumhouse Productions. Number 25, I'm as shocked as you are, is Dora and the Lost City of Gold. It is so satisfying to see this film so high on the list. I thought burn, but I was super surprised by it, and I loved it. And Swiper, well, he was underused. He was good as well, man. He was weird, but he was good. Boots was good. Danny Trejo voiced him, which I found super surprising. And it had a great cast behind it, man. A super enjoyable adventure film. At number 24 is The Dead Don't Die, with Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton, Chloe Sevigny, Danny Glover. Man, it's just it's an all-star cast, and it's very weird, but it's a good kind of weird, and it's my kind of weird, and I just had a super fun time with it, and it's one of my favorite zombie films of all time now. And number 23 is the Banana Splits film, or movie. It's very weird because originally it was going to be the Five Nights at Freddy's film, then they lost the rights for that, and it went back to Scott, of course. So then they pulled the Banana Splits idea in, and we got this super satisfying, fun kill filled film. At number 22 is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks. Mainly because Mr. Rogers is sort of sidelined throughout the film. That was only my one complaint, really, I think. But Tom Hanks is super charming in this film, and I hope he gets a nod for his performance as Mr. Rogers. He's insanely charming and a lot like Mr. Rogers, because of course they are related, as someone found out through Ancestry.com. And number 21 is It Chapter 2, soon to be covered on Uncut Movie in the coming weeks, I believe. I have to look at the schedule because sometimes it changes around, but you'll find out in the January schedule for that. But yeah, man, It Chapter 2 is super enjoyable. I saw it in the theaters, of course, and it was very scary. For me, anyway. Not as scary as the first, but there was a lot of highlights. Isaiah Mustafa, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, James McAvoy, just fantastic performances by them, specifically Bill Hader, and Jessica Chastain. And of course, it was just a super fun ride. Bill Skarsgård was a huge highlight, of course, as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and it was a good wrap up to the It franchise. At number 20 is Ready or Not. Wow, Samara Weaving was fantastic. I haven't seen any of her work, but I really hope this is her breakout performance because she was fantastic in this film. Great concept, shocking ending, one of the best final acts of this year, I would say, or entertaining and fun at least. But it was just super shocking for me how much I liked this film. At number 19 is Doctor Sleep. We're getting close to that top 10 now. Of course, from Stephen King, the Stephen King adaptation. And man, I had such a fun time with this film. This might be one of my, I forget how much this stacks up against some of the other horror films on the list, but I believe this is my favorite film in terms of horror. My favorite horror film of the year, I believe. But man, it is intense and it is great. And it was just one of the most pleasant and disturbing experiences I've had in the theater, of course. And I just loved Ewan McGregor as Danny Torrance, and it was just a fantastic conclusion to The Shining. Number 18 is Black Christmas. So, honestly, I'm kind of going back and forth between Black Christmas and Doctor Sleep, but Black Christmas was very enjoyable as equally as Doctor Sleep. So I would say they're about even for my favorite film of the year. But yeah, Black Christmas was super fun, and I was excited for it, and I was not disappointed. It had a great cast, great kills, a good, solid mystery, and a fun collection of kills. And number 17 is Shazam. I'm glad it stayed this high on the list because Shazam is a great film, man. I rewatched it the other day, and I still get the same enjoyment out of it as when I saw it in theaters. Um, just Adam, not Adam, what the fudge? Freaking crap, I forgot who plays Shazam. Wow, I can't believe Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi, I'm sorry for that. Zachary Levi is super charming in the role of Billy Batson growing up into Shazam. And then the kid that played Billy Batson was great as well. And of course you get Jack Dylan Grazer as Freddy, his sort of sidekick or sort of hero advisor, which is super fun and enjoyable. And it was just one of the best DC films, or anything. It was one of the best things that we got out of DC in the past decade. And number 16 is Godzilla King of the Monsters. Super enjoyable blast for me in theaters. It was just a very enjoyable film, and I like the cast, and the visuals were fantastic. The lighting, the colors were just great, and they were super satisfying. Number 15 is Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, man. I'm just as surprised as you. I mean, it's not a surprise that I like this film because I thought going in, it's The Rock and it's Jason Statham, and I really like their performances in this film and other films. And then you got Idris Elba as Brixton the villain, which is even more great. And I just really fell in love with this film and its action, and just the enjoyable quality of it is through the roof.